soft rumble of a train. Distant thunder. Then, a scream cuts through the night. "Stop the train! Somebody's on the tracks!" The conductor's voice cracked through the intercom, panic echoing in every car. A moment later, the brakes screeched, sparks lit the night, and everything went still. No one spoke. Just the sound of metal cooling and a faint drip, drip, of something wet hitting the rails. For 29-year-old Lena Brooks, this train ride wasn't supposed to end in blood. She had boarded the Midnight Express from Chicago to St. Louis, a simple trip home after visiting her dying mother. But from the moment she stepped onto that train, something felt off. The carriage was dim, nearly empty except for a few passengers, a suited man with eyes that didn't blink enough, 2 college kids whispering in the corner, and a tired conductor who barely made eye contact. Lena found a seat by the window, clutching her bag close. Inside was a photo of her mother, a worn Bible, and a locket her father had given her before he disappeared years ago, ironically, during a train trip much like this one. She took a slow breath, watching her reflection flicker in the dark glass. Just one more night, then home. It started small, like most injustices do. When the conductor came to check tickets, Lena handed hers over with a polite smile. He barely glanced at it before frowning. "This ticket's invalid," he said flatly. "What?" "No, it can't be. I bought it online this morning." He smirked, voice dropping to a condescending whisper. "Then maybe you clicked the wrong train, sweetheart. This one's first class. You sure you belong here?" Passengers nearby looked up, curious. A few snickered. Lena's face flushed red. She tried to explain, pulling out her phone, showing the confirmation email, but the signal was gone. Dead. The conductor folded his arms. "Either you pay again or you get off at the next stop." Her jaw tightened. She'd already spent the last of her cash on her mother's medicine. "Please," she said quietly, "I can't." "Then you'll ride in the service car," he snapped, cutting her off. She could feel every eye on her as she gathered her things and walked toward the back, humiliated. The service car was freezing. Flickering fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Boxes of supplies lined the walls, and the air smelled faintly of oil and iron. Lena sat alone, knees pulled close, trying not to cry. Outside, rain began to fall, tapping against the window in slow, steady rhythms, like distant footsteps. After a while, she heard someone enter. The man from earlier, the one in the suit, stood there, staring at her. "You shouldn't be back here," he said. His voice was too calm. "It's not safe." She frowned. "Excuse me?" He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "People disappear on this route. Every few years. Always at midnight. Always on this train." Lena tried to laugh it off, but the man's eyes, they didn't look like he was joking. Before she could reply, the train lurched violently. The lights cut out. Screams echoed through the cars ahead. Emergency lights flickered red. The PA system crackled with static, then went dead. Lena stumbled toward the door, but the suited man grabbed her arm. "Don't go out there," he hissed. "That's how it starts." "What starts?" "The train's curse. It's what killed your father." She froze. "What did you just say?" He didn't answer. Just slipped something into her hand, a small silver coin etched with a strange symbol. "Keep this. It'll protect you," he whispered. "But only if you stay quiet." Then he disappeared into the shadows between cars. Lena moved forward cautiously. The next car was chaos, passengers crying, a few arguing, others staring at the floor in shock. And then she saw it. Blood. A dark, spreading pool near the door. An old woman whispered, it was the conductor. He fell. Or someone pushed him. Lena knelt down. The conductor lay motionless, eyes wide, a single streak of red across his throat. She felt her heart pounding. "No," she whispered. "This can't be happening." But as she reached for his pulse, she noticed something strange. his ticket puncher clutched in his hand, stained with blood and scratched with the same symbol from the coin the suited man had given her. Suddenly, someone shouted. She was the last one with him. Lena looked up. The two college kids were pointing at her. We saw her arguing with the conductor earlier. Voices rose. Fear turned to accusation. Call the police. She killed him. Lena backed away, hands trembling. No. I didn't. Listen to me. A group of passengers closed in, their faces twisted with panic. Then, over the chaos, another voice rang out, low, commanding. Leave her alone. It was the man in the suit. He stepped forward, flashing a badge. FBI. She's not your problem, he said. But whoever did this is still on this train. Everyone froze. As the passengers quieted, Lena's mind raced back years, to the night her father vanished. He'd kissed her goodnight, said he was taking the midnight train home. He never arrived. The police said he jumped. Her mother never believed it. Now she understood why. She looked down at the coin in her palm, the strange mark glinting under the emergency lights. The same mark that was on her father's old pocket watch, the one missing when he died. The agent moved through the cars, questioning passengers, checking compartments. Lena followed quietly. The train slowed as thunder rolled overhead, lights flickering again. Then they heard it, metal scraping on metal. A low, rhythmic clang, clang, clang from the cargo car ahead. The agent motioned for her to stay put. He drew his gun and opened the door. Seconds later, he screamed. Lena rushed in and froze. The car was empty, except for blood smeared along the walls, spelling the word, ticket. Police met the train at the next station. The passengers were escorted off, shaken, pale, silent. But Lena wasn't among them. Neither was the man in the suit. Investigators found only one clue left behind, a single silver coin on the floor near the door. Same symbol. Same story. The midnight line was shut down after that night. Too many questions, not enough answers. But some say, when the clock strikes 12 and the wind hits the rails just right, you can still hear the brakes screeching, the whispers calling your name. It had been exactly 7 months since the night of the Midnight Line massacre. 7 months since Lena Brooks vanished without a trace, and the world moved on. Reporters called it a freak incident. The train company blamed a systems failure. The FBI called it classified. But the people who were on that train, they never forgot the sound of those brakes, or the woman with the trembling hands and haunted eyes clutching a silver coin. And then, one rainy evening in late October, a familiar sound returned. The whistle of a train that shouldn't exist. The old Riverbend station was supposed to be closed. Rusted tracks, peeling paint, and shattered glass lined the platform. Yet tonight, a faint light glowed from the ticket booth. Lena stepped out of the shadows, her hood pulled low. She looked thinner, older, not in years, but in the kind of weight only grief can carve into your face. She had been living quietly in St. Louis since that night, trying to convince herself it was over. But she kept hearing it, the sound of the train in her dreams. The conductor's voice. Her father's whisper. And then the letter came. No return address. Just a single sheet of paper. The line runs again. You have one last ride. Folded inside was the same silver coin. Lena stood at the edge of the platform, rain soaking her shoes. The air vibrated. And from the fog, headlights. The midnight line was back. As the train rolled into view, its paint looked new. The windows gleamed. It was spotless, too spotless, like something out of time. The doors hissed open. No conductor. No announcement. Just silence. Lena stepped inside. Her reflection shimmered faintly on the polished metal walls. The seats were empty, yet faint voices murmured, echoes of old conversations. Laughter, crying, arguments, like the walls remembered every passenger who had ever ridden. She walked slowly down the aisle, fingertips brushing the worn upholstery. "Dad," she whispered. Nothing. Then, from somewhere ahead, a faint clang, clang, clang. She followed it. The last door opened to the service car, the same place she'd been forced into that night. Sitting on a crate, calm as ever, was the man in the suit. Except this time, he wasn't holding a badge. He was holding a pocket watch. "You came back," he said quietly. Lena's breath caught. You were there. You said you were FBI." He gave a tired smile. "I was. Once. Before the train took me too." She froze. "Took you?" He nodded, eyes hollow. "Everyone who dies on this line becomes part of it. Bound to finish the ride they never completed." Lena stepped closer. "Then what do you want from me?" He opened his hand, the same silver coin gleamed in his palm. "You've been carrying its twin. That coin is a ticket," he said softly. "Not for travel, but for truth." The car trembled. The lights flickered. And suddenly, Lena wasn't in the service car anymore. She was standing on the platform, but decades earlier. The year was 1999. The old wooden signs were fresh, the crowd bustling, laughter echoing through the station. She saw him, her father, Michael Brooks. Young, kind eyes, same nervous half-smile she remembered. He was boarding the midnight line with his leather briefcase. Lena tried to call out, but no sound came. She followed him onto the train, invisible, unseen. She watched as the conductor checked his ticket, then pocketed something that wasn't his, her father's silver coin. Her father frowned. "Excuse me, that's mine." The conductor's grin twisted. "Not anymore." Moments later, the lights went out. A scream. A thud. When they came back on, her father was gone. Lena clutched her chest. "Oh my God." The man in the suit's voice echoed behind her. "He never jumped, Lena. They sacrificed him to keep the line running." Back in the present, Lena's hands were shaking. Sacrificed? For what? The man stood slowly. "This train isn't powered by coal or electricity. It's powered by guilt. By souls who died unjustly." The conductor was the gatekeeper, feeding it one passenger at a time. Lena's eyes widened. "So the night I was on board." He nodded. "He tried to offer you. But someone interrupted." "Who?" "You," he said softly. "From another time. That's why you saw me that night. I was never alive then. I was already trapped." She stumbled back, overwhelmed. "I don't understand." "You will," he said. "The train's making its final trip tonight. And it wants its last passenger." The floor began to shake. The lights went blood red. Windows blurred into streaks of darkness. The intercom crackled, a voice like gravel. "Tickets, please." The true conductor stepped out from the shadows. His uniform was immaculate, but his face, twisted, gray, with eyes like coal pits. He smiled. "Welcome back, Miss Brooks. Your father's waiting." Lena's breath hitched. "You killed him." He tilted his head. "I freed him. And now, I'll free you." The man in the suit stepped between them. "Not this time." The conductor's grin faltered. "You can't stop me. You're bound here too." The man raised the pocket watch. It glowed faintly with the same symbol as the coins. "Then I'll end it from inside." The train howled through darkness, faster than any human machine could go. Sparks rained against the windows. Lena could feel the pull, the force of something ancient and hungry beneath her feet. "Lena," the man shouted. "The engine. Destroy the clock inside the control room, it's the heart of it all." She ran. Doors slammed behind her, glass shattering, whispers swirling, "Stay. Stay. Stay." She burst into the control car, and froze. There, wired into the machinery, was a massive brass clock, ticking backward. And inside its glass casing, her father's face. His eyes opened. "Lena, run." Tears streamed down her face. "No, Dad. Not again." She grabbed the wrench from the wall and swung, once, twice, smashing the clock face. The train screamed. Sparks exploded. The lights went white. The voice of the conductor roared, "You can't break time." Lena raised the coin and shouted, "Then I'll stop it." She slammed the coin into the gears. Everything stopped. When Lena opened her eyes, she was lying on the grass beside an empty stretch of track. No train. No sound. Just morning sunlight breaking through the clouds. In her hand, the two coins melted together. A few feet away lay the pocket watch, cracked open, the second hand frozen at 12:01. She stood slowly, looking around. The air smelled clean. For the first time in years, she felt peace. A figure appeared beside her, her father. Smiling, clear-eyed. "You did it," he said softly. The lines closed. No more lost souls. She reached for him, but her hand passed through. He chuckled sadly. "It's okay. You ended it. That's all that matters." Tears filled her eyes. "I just wanted you home." "I am home," he whispered. "Now, you live." And with that, he faded, like steam into the wind. A few months later, Lena stood at a small memorial by the tracks. The old Riverbend station had been demolished. All that remained was a plaque. In memory of those lost on the Midnight Line, 1975 to 2024. She placed the fused coins at its base. As she turned to leave, a faint sound rose behind her, not a whistle, not a train, just the wind passing through steel. But this time, it didn't sound haunting. It sounded free. Weeks later, as she packed to move to a new city, Lena found one last envelope in her mailbox. No return address. Just a single phrase written in her father's handwriting. "Thank you for the return ticket." Inside was a photograph of Lena as a child, sitting on her father's lap inside a train car. In the corner of the photo was a faint reflection, the man in the suit, smiling faintly, like he'd been there all along. Lena smiled through her tears and whispered, "Ride complete." That was blood on the tracks, the return ticket, the final chapter of Lena Brooks' haunting journey. Some trains carry passengers. Others carry promises. And sometimes, the only way home is through the dark. Please like, comment and subscribe to True Crime Chronicles for more stories that blend truth, mystery, and the human spirit.